weekend of initial deer season in Ohio. We got our new Ruger American Ranch 350 Legend, brand new Vortex optics and crossfire. We got this thing dialed in last week. We've been really into to get out in the woods. Haven't been able to get out. One day we didn't see anything. It wasn't a good day. We're gonna come out to my buddy's place. He's got a double stand, so we can set it. My daughter and I can both set in there. So feels like a real good day. We bumped some does on the way in, so let's keep on going. We just bumped some does off this ridge here where we're walking. The stand's up here about another 30, 40 yards. There's a real nice rub up here. There's definitely some buck in the area. We just got in. We walked up in on a deer. There was a deer right up here. I was turning around a second. You'll see our stand right up here. I can just see the doors of this deer. I think it was a good one. Right? He turned a little bit. I got a glance of the antler. Perfect torso. So here, we're just about to come down this ridge. There's the stand right there. He was right in between those trees right up there, about 118 yards away. So I don't want to push him, so we're just sitting here. But he did the big hind kick. So I think I probably got a pretty good shot on him. Now we're just waiting. We climbed up in the tree in case something else comes along. But we'll see. Be a quick hunt episode. So we just got out of the tree. We waited about an hour, went over the ridge, and I didn't find any blood, but I recently got some Vortex, some Diamondback HD binoculars. They're a game changer. I seen something off in the distance and got the binoculars out, and I was able to spot him right off. So he's down here. Let's go get him. Ooh, buddy. Oh man. Yeah. God, he's a monster. What a beautiful deer. Oh my God. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my God, baby. Oh my God. Good morning, everybody. Justin Walls here. I figured I'd just do a quick little recap for you guys. I've gotten a couple questions on, I just posted like a little teaser shot on Facebook and Instagram the other day, and I've got a couple questions about setup. So I figured I'd just go ahead and do a quick little recap to add to the bottom of this video and go over my gun hunting rig. I'm brand new to gun hunting. I've bow hunted for 3 years hard now. The last 3 years with all the, well, I guess to preface, I grew up in the woods, hunting, fishing, shooting, everything. My grandfather was a hobbyist gunsmith, so grew up around guns. Life got busy, all this and that, building my business and everything, so I kind of got away from hunting for a long time. But here, the last 3 years, with kind of the climate of everything and kind of getting back to my roots, started getting real into hunting again. A couple buddies of mine helped me out a bunch, give me a lot of advice and so on and so forth. But main reason getting out in the woods is knowing where my food comes from. So my family and I, we grow our own garden. We grow our own chickens, meat, birds. We have our own eggs, all that stuff. All of our beef comes from good friends of mine, my girlfriend's family. So we don't buy meat from the store. So that's what kind of got me out in the woods. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you can tell that I like hunting big deer as well. So out there for the meat primarily, but it's fun to chase the big guys. I don't shoot little bucks. I think it's good to let them walk and grow up to get big and everything. But yeah, I'm not a trophy hunter. But I am super stoked on this guy. I've been hunting hard all year so far. Like I said, I've been a bow hunter hard for the last 3 years. This year I decided to get into the gun stuff. Gun week, I've always just kind of sat to the sidelines and never hunted really much. Trying to kind of stay out of the woods during gun week. Everything's so spooked and everything. But anyway, so after a bunch of research, I picked up this Ruger American Ranch 350 Legend. It's good, affordable. I got the compact version because we've got kids. So my daughter, she was wanting to hunt this year. My girlfriend's daughter hunts. Her boys talked about getting into it as well. So I figured this would be a perfect gun for the family to use. Went with the 350 just because, I mean, it's a good solid round. Thing's accurate as hell. It gets the job done, obviously. My buddy Nick Parcher, he helps me out a ton, and we spent a bunch of time out at his property a couple weeks ago, right after I bought this thing, because I literally just bought this about 2 weeks ago. We went up to Vance, and they're having a killer deals on these things. Ran through a bunch of ammo. I picked up this Vortex Crossfire 2 scope as well. I went with the 4x16x50. I don't know, probably not the ideal choice, but I like the zoom. I'm a welder by trade, so I'm going blind, so it's like a little bit easier for me to see sometimes if I can zoom it all in far. Got the 50 just to bring in all that light, get a real nice clear picture, and kind of thinking too with the more zoom, with the kids running it and stuff, they can get it on a smaller target. Everybody's kind of, not everybody, I've been shooting all my life, but the kids wise, everybody's still fairly green, so I want to give them the best opportunities. I don't want to be out there wounding deer, so I want to be spot on. I want to make sure our shot placement's right and all that good stuff. So that's why I went with the 1650. But anyway, we ran through a bunch of ammo the other day. I literally drove all around town and picked up every brand of ammo I could find. But the very obvious, very clear winner of that shootout was this Hornady American Whitetail. We set up targets at 50, 100, 150, and then out to 200, and then we even stretched it out to 225. And man, this thing was shooting tight groups, 2-3 inch groups. The first day, we put it in the van, let the thing get cold and everything. Came out the next day. We chose the Hornady American Whitetail. Decided that was our ammo. Let the gun set a couple days, get nice and cold in the car. We went out and did some cold shoots, and we just did. We did at first at 100 yards, and it shot within a half inch of a bullseye. Let the gun cool off again. Wait a little while. 150 yards. It was about 3/4 of an inch outside of bullseye. let the gun cool down again, out to 200, same thing. And this thing was dialed, and this ammo was just dialed. It was shooting really good. We stretched it out to 225, and I actually messed up. I grabbed the wrong ammo when we went out to 225 because I was just messing around. At one point, shooting some ball ammo, just getting familiar with my gun, and didn't want to waste the good ammo, so I wasn't paying attention. I grabbed the wrong damn ammo, but it's still this gun. It's so good. It was still within. It was in probably like a 4-inch grouping at 225 yards. So anyway, Hornady, American Whitetail. These are the 175 grain, or I'm sorry, 170 grain. Vortex Crossfire Optics, Ruger American Ranch. Man, these, I want to mention these because these made my life way easier while I was out there. Obviously, I'm a Vortex fan. I use this Ranger 1300 rangefinder when we came in. As you've seen in the video, we had, it was kind of wild how much time we had with this deer. He was situated perfectly behind those trees to where his head, you couldn't see his head. And kind of in the video, I want to touch on that too. In the video, I say I didn't get a good look at him really. I don't want it to sound like I was just out there shooting any deer that come across me. We sat there and watched that deer for a long time. It took me a long time to make the decision to pull the trigger on that guy, just because of how he was situated. He was right between those two trees, kind of V'd out, and his torso was right there between the trees. And when we come in, I spotted him out there, ranged him in. He was at 118 yards, but there was a pretty big tree on, it would be my left side or right side. So the right side of his torso was, or it was more like his neck and head area was right behind this tree. And you could see that he was a big body deer. I could tell he was a big deer, but I honestly thought he was a big doe for a minute, the way he was just sitting there. He stood in that same spot for a long time, and once we walked up, I was kind of inspecting that little area. It was near an oak tree, obviously. There was acorns on the ground, so he's probably down there chowing down. And but anyway, he wasn't paying a bit of attention, and we come up nice and quiet. Just come up on him perfect, and to where he didn't have any idea we were back there behind him. And the way that tree was situated in our line of sight, it was blocking him perfectly. So even if he looked back, he wouldn't have been able to see us with that tree. But anyway, with that tree there, man, it blocked his head and everything perfect. And every now and then I'd just see his mouth moving or something. I watched him through the scope for a good couple minutes probably, after we got set up, because we sat there and watched him, and I was hoping he would move forward a little bit, and like I said, thinking he was a doe, but I knew, I had a feeling, I had a good feeling that it was a buck. I think at one point I might have seen a little flash of white before I pulled the gun up, so we kind of backed up. I backed Kay up back off of me a little bit, got our earplugs in, got my rangefinder out, set my book bag up to where I had a good, nice, solid steady and everything, and watched him through the scope for a good little bit. And I got like a little glimpse of white one time, so I confirmed, it's like, okay, yeah, he's a buck. So sat there for a minute, and I was just thinking I'd just pass on. We were just going to let him do his thing. I didn't want him to bust us out. So sitting there quiet, watching him through the scope. And at one point he looked up, and all I could see was antlers on both sides of this tree. And it's a pretty good sized tree. So I'm like, all right, he's a good one. He's definitely a shooter. Couldn't see his ears, so I knew he was out past his ears. And it's like, all right, he's a good one. I was kind of getting excited, getting my blood flowing. I had to box breathe, calm myself down, and because he wasn't going nowhere, I could tell he was just settled in. And took some deep breaths, got myself back under control. And while I was doing that, he kind of moved a little bit again. His face moved a little bit, and I got a glimpse of a real thick white. So I was like, all right, yeah, he's the one. I'm gonna take the shot. And So I was able to just sit there, take my time, box breathe, and took a shot. He let out a big old mule kick, and immediately he was standing right on this ridge, and he immediately he mule kicked and hopped right down that ridge, and I just got like a split-second glimpse of him, and didn't have any idea how big he was. So, but yeah, I just want to, like I said, I wanted to touch on that, make it sound like I wasn't just out there shooting anything. If it's brown, it's down, or anything like that. But no, I took my time and made sure he was a good deer. Made sure it was something I was after. And also, I mean, the circumstances of the hunt. This was my first season gun hunting. Only my third time out hunting. I was with my daughter, and you can hear in the video how excited she was. So she wasn't thrilled when I said, "All right, we're gonna slip into the stand here. We're gonna give him an hour." I've always just been taught by my buddy Nick and another buddy Kenny that's worked for my dad forever. They always say, you get a shot on a deer, just wait him out, give him 45 minutes or an hour, and because I didn't want to bump him. So we sat in the stand, but also, man, with being towards the end of this week's gun season, you can hear shots going all around the county, and figured, we've been watching this other little buck down there. Not little, he's a good buck, but he's a good shooter for K. I kind of figured, you never know. With all the shooting going around, you never know what else might come in. Something else might get bumped into us while we're sitting there waiting. And so we climbed up in the stand and very roughly waited. And it was tough. It was tough to sit there and wait before we crawled down. But yeah, we crawled down. And as in the video, you can see we crawled down. We walked out to the point. Didn't see no blood. But I could see his hoof marks and everything, and from the top of that ridge to where he laid down was probably about 40, 50 yards. And, man, this Hornady American Whitetail, it did work. So I got a perfect double lung shot, maybe a little bit higher than I would have liked. I generally try and like shooting a little bit lower, try and hit that heart, make it even quicker for him. But this stuff, man, it didn't. In the video, you can see there's no wound on his, I guess it would have been his left-hand side. There's no open wound, but the bullet did go through both rib cages. Just the back side caught the bullet debris or whatever, but man, it wreaked havoc. Perfect penetration. It wreaked havoc on its lungs, man. His lungs were mush. This stuff did its job for sure. So. Which is perfect. I mean, we didn't have, it did exactly what it was supposed to. It went inside, expanded, blew apart the internals. There wasn't wasted energy coming out the backside of the deer. So, but yeah, man, it did its job, obviously. You can see in the videos, and he went 40, 50 yards, and would have been a quick, obviously it was a quick death for him, which is what we like. That's what we shoot for. But yeah, that's it, guys. If you have any other questions or anything, feel free to hit me up. Glad to go over this stuff. We love these animals. We love the sport of it. But more importantly, this thing's going to feed our family here for over the next year. We'll get another, probably try and get a couple does here. But yeah, we do all of it ourselves. We're here in my shop this morning. It's early, Sunday. My brother's going to come down. He got a doe. We're going to butcher our deers out. I rigged up a little fridge on Friday night. A buddy of mine gave me a fridge, and rather than having to cut that thing out, it was about 50 degrees on Friday, so we didn't want to leave it hanging outside. So we brought it right down, skinned it out, quartered it out, and put it in the fridge. This morning we're going to come down and finish butchering it out. We'll separate all of our grind and everything. We do all of it here. Make our own jerkies, make our own sausages, and all that stuff. So we do it all. We see that animal walking in the woods, we shoot it, we track it, we gut it, we quarter it, we cut it all up, butcher it, cook it, eat it. So everything, we see every bit of it. So, but if you guys have any questions on that, want to see some videos on that stuff, then let me know, and I'll keep adding to the channel. And but either way, thank you guys so much for all the congratulatory comments. Really appreciate it. And man, I couldn't be more stoked on this deer. So thank you all. Thank you, Ruger, Vortex, Hornady, making great products. Couldn't have done it without you guys. I got one final shout out too. I need to give a huge shout out because without this dude, none of this would have been possible. But my buddy Troy, thanks so much, man, for letting us sit out there and use your property, use your stand. Man, without Troy, this thing wouldn't have happened. I've got some good spots, but they're real tight quartered, so Kay's not really able to set with me in those spots. The one's just a stand, just a single stand, and Troy has that double stand out at his property. He's been super busy. He's got a wife and little kids and a family, or in a business that he runs, so he wasn't able to get out to the woods. So he was gracious enough to let Kay and I sit out there a couple times, and man, couldn't have done it without you, buddy. I really appreciate it. So